Hey, Russell Wilson made it to the Super Bowl as a spectator with Roger Goodell. But today I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, obviously, and kind of what Patrick Mahomes going through with his horrible offensive line kind of shows for Russell Wilson. This Super Bowl was really a negative for just about everybody except for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Patrick Mahomes just did not have a great time. His offensive line didn't do much to help him. He had some issues and some injuries at the tackle spots, and really, he just kept on getting pressured every single play, basically. He got sacked a couple times, hit a couple times, and I mean, he was making some great throws out of the pressure, out of getting hit, but his wide receivers had some butterfingers as well, so everything just went wrong for Patrick Mahomes, and basically every single thing in the game went right for Tom Brady. And congratulations to Tom Brady, he won his 7th ring. Also, big congratulations to Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, and Leonard Fournette, all of which were basically outcasts. They didn't have a team, and then they got picked up by the Bucs, and they ended up going to the Super Bowl and being huge contributors, all of which ended up scoring touchdowns, so that was pretty crazy. Congrats to those guys. Dude is basically the GOAT until Patrick Mahomes can somehow maybe get to that 7-8 ring mark. But Tom Brady, he's basically just solidified his case for the best ever NFL player. And no matter how much you hate him, no matter how much I hate him, you have to respect the greatness to be able to win 7 Super Bowl rings. He basically proved everyone wrong who said that it was Bill Belichick that got him those rings. But either way, we're not here to talk about the Buccaneers. We're talking about the Chiefs. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes and what Patrick Mahomes had to deal with his horrible offensive line. Patrick Mahomes definitely got the Russell Wilson treatment yesterday. He was getting pressured every single play, it seemed like. He was getting hit, he was getting knocked down, he was getting sacked, just about every single play. His offensive line didn't really seem to be helping him too much. He almost always had 2 rushers in the backfield. It was just bad. He made some absolutely insane throws. And I mean, some of the throws that he made were just absolutely marvelous that nobody else in the NFL can make, but then his receivers just dropped it. There was this absolutely insane 4th down play that really was the make or break point of the game for the Chiefs, where Patrick Mahomes basically, he was that NCAA football meme where the dude's on his back throwing the ball and has a perfect dart to his wide receiver. The only difference is his wide receiver didn't catch it. It was actually a halfback, Damian Williams, who had been a god in the last Super Bowl. He just completely choked. He did the DK Metcalf where he let the ball bounce straight off his forehead. And I mean, that was an insane throw. The dude was basically hovering above the ground, like an inch above the ground, still throws a perfect spiral to his receiver, gave him the perfect chance to catch it for a touchdown, and just butterfingers, bricks for hands, completely just messed it up, Damian Williams did. So I feel bad for Patrick Mahomes, but he really just didn't do well when having to deal with having a horrible offensive line. And although this really sucks for Patrick Mahomes and it sucks for Chiefs fans, this was a horrible game for the Chiefs. It was really just a disappointing Super Bowl. It wasn't as enjoyable as everyone thought it would be, as entertaining, as high scoring, and as competitive that people thought it would be. And I mean, Patrick Mahomes was just getting bullied the entire game, but it does bring awareness to what Russell Wilson goes through just about every single game of his career. Russell Wilson has been a man without an offensive line for his entire career. Russell Wilson gets sacked more than 40 times a season for every single season other than his rookie year, which was still over 30 times he was sacked. And I mean, he's pressured almost every single play. His offensive line has some amazing games where they, only let him get sacked 5 times, That's the best that they can do, really. And it's so disappointing because Russell Wilson, he's such an amazing talent, and so is Patrick Mahomes. But this Super Bowl really just showed against a good defense, or really just in any game, no matter how talented of a quarterback you are, it's insanely difficult to overcome a bad offensive line because, defensive linemen and edge rushers in the NFL, they are going to get pressure on you, and that pressure matters. So you being a quarterback, no matter if you're Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, you're going to be bound to make mistakes and not play as well as you would have if you had offensive linemen that would actually block for you. And the thing is, Patrick Mahomes did not have a good game by any means. He was barely over 50% completion percentage, 270 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. The first ever game where he didn't have a touchdown in his entire career for the NFL. And it came in the most important game. And I mean, that's definitely in part of the Buccaneers. They just played amazing defense. They knew what to do to stop them. They doubled Tyreek Hill. They doubled Travis Kelce. They basically just told the Chiefs to beat them with someone other than their star players, and they really couldn't. They couldn't really get the run game going. They had a couple decent runs. They couldn't get the other wide receivers in the game. I mean, really, nothing worked out for the Chiefs, and it was just a disappointing showing. Patrick Mahomes struggled. Everyone struggled on that team. They started doing okay kind of later in the fourth quarter when it was garbage time. That's where a lot of the stats came in. But Patrick Mahomes also threw an interception then, trying to force something. But I mean, it was clear that this was not a good game for Patrick Mahomes, and it was 100% due to the offensive line. We know Patrick Mahomes is an amazing talent. We know the people around him are amazing. Same thing goes with Russell Wilson. Amazing quarterback with amazing pieces around him. It's just when the offensive line cannot show up, there's really not much that you can do from it. If Patrick Mahomes, the guaranteed best quarterback in the league right now and for the future, Aaron Rodgers has an amazing offensive line. Tom Brady has an amazing offensive line. Patrick Mahomes had an amazing offensive line. He was doing amazing the entire season, but then his offensive line did not come to play today, or yesterday actually, and it really just hurt him. He couldn't really overcome the fact that his offensive line did not want to block for him, and it's sad to see because Patrick Mahomes is such an amazing talent, and he's so young, and he has so much potential. It sucks to see him fail, but it kind of just brings light to what Russell Wilson and every other good quarterback that has horrible offensive linemen have to deal with. And I've seen a lot of people talking about how this is definitely sad for Patrick Mahomes. Like, do you feel bad for Patrick Mahomes because his teammates didn't come to play today? But no one really talks about it when it's Russell Wilson or even Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz is not an elite quarterback. He can be, but, you know, he's not a guy that can even think about overcoming a bad offensive line. Russell Wilson has shown that he can overcome bad offensive lines. It's just really difficult to do it consistently, especially when you have the least dynamic offense in the entire NFL. I mean, there was just a lot of things going wrong for Russell Wilson, just like Patrick Mahomes today. But it's just, I think no matter how bad it is for Patrick Mahomes to struggle today and really just tarnish the quote-unquote ability to catch Tom Brady as the GOAT later down in his career, I think it does bring light on what Russell Wilson goes through, and I think it does make people respect Russell Wilson much more, seeing as though Patrick Mahomes can't even deal with a bad offensive line. With this video, I am by no means hating on Patrick Mahomes or hating on the Chiefs. I did say that I think the Bucs should win this Super Bowl, not because I don't like Patrick Mahomes and I don't like the Chiefs, but because I know the Chiefs are going to be great. I know Patrick Mahomes is going to be great for the foreseeable future. So I just wanted 1 year where the Chiefs were not going to completely dominate the league. You know, they're going to dominate the league for the next 10, 15 years. At least let them have one loss, and that's what they had today. It was quite disappointing for them. I would have liked it to be a more competitive game, but I really enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes. He is an amazing talent, and although I am a huge fan of him, I'm a huge fan of Russell Wilson as well. But when Patrick Mahomes has a bad offensive line and everyone feels bad for him, it just kind of makes me think about how no one really gives Russell Wilson the credit that he deserves for dealing with such a bad offensive line. You've seen Patrick Mahomes put up insane numbers. You've seen Aaron Rodgers put up insane numbers with much better offensive lines. But when Patrick Mahomes doesn't have an offensive line, he just falls apart. And this is obviously one game. If Patrick Mahomes didn't have an offensive line for the whole season, I would assume that he would adjust as the amazing quarterback that he is, and he would do much, much better than he did today when it came to throughout the entire season. But in the Super Bowl, his offensive line didn't come to play, and he just didn't seem like he was ready for his offensive line to be as bad as it was. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers, he's an amazing talent. Even if he didn't have an offensive line that is as good as it is, he probably wouldn't be the same quarterback. He'd still be amazing. He'd still be uber talented. He'd still make plays, but he would definitely be making a lot less plays. I think Russell Wilson has kind of adapted to having a horrible offensive line, and it just makes it seem normal for him to have a bad offensive line and still put up numbers like everyone else. And that's the reason why I don't think Russell Wilson gets the kind of credit that he deserves for dealing with such a bad offensive line. But maybe Patrick Mahomes shedding light on the fact that it's hard to be a quarterback with a bad offensive line will give Russell Wilson the credit that he deserves, bring awareness to the players who struggle with just horrible offensive lines and have to deal with that on a year-to-year basis rather than just one single game, although it was the most important game. I mean, it sucks to see the Chiefs lose in the fashion that they lost. I thought they would lose. I kind of hoped that they would lose, but I do like Patrick Mahomes, and I really hope that he is successful throughout the rest of his career. I really hope that he comes back next season. This really doesn't hurt him too bad mentally, and he can come back, be better than he was this year, and just be an absolutely amazing talent. Still hoping that Russell Wilson finds a way to win MVP next season. Still hoping the Seahawks find a way to put an offensive line that's halfway competent around Russell Wilson, but we'll see what happens next season. I mean, I think this, although it sucks for Patrick Mahomes, brings light to a very important topic of quarterbacks that are having their career wasted by having horrible offensive lines. But that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the hair. Honestly, don't know why I did it. I just kind of got bored. I decided that it would be interesting to kind of switch it up just randomly throughout the video, because there's really no clips that I can use. Every single thing in the Super Bowl is going to be copyrighted and taken down if I even try to put anything up. So I really just have to talk, and maybe I could throw a couple pictures of what I was talking about Patrick Mahomes earlier on in the video, but hopefully everyone enjoyed what I did with my hair. I mean, it looks so dumb, but it's okay. I grew it out so that it could look dumb, and I accept that. And I think that that's awesome and that's cool. But with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought about the Super Bowl, what you think about the fact that Patrick Mahomes underperforming with a bad offensive line means for how people perceive Russell Wilson and how he does throughout the recent seasons. But, I mean, either way, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. With that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.